All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live for a Schoolscape webinar. Thank you for being live with us. Please, in the chat bar, we'd love it. We want to make this as engaging as possible. I think maybe to set the scene, we are wanting to give you as much value as possible in this session to help you be as effective as possible as we go into our series of Schoolscape events. So to make this interactive, please ask questions. Say hello in the group. I see there are lots of people online at the moment. So yes, and the emojis, please use the emojis. It gives me a bit of encouragement as the speaker. So our aim today is just to give you kind of line of sight of what we're going to do. You should be able to see my screen now. We are going to just do a quick welcome. Check. Oh, look at all those emojis coming through. We've recently come off a roadshow and we want to give you stats. We think these stats and what happened is going to really help you be more effective. We want to give you an overview of the event itself, and then we're going to get into some critical stuff that you need to know for the events, just what you need to fill in, what you need to do, understanding our app, as well as your physical stand. Then right at the end, we are bringing in our powerhouse, Henk. Some of you might not have yet met Henk, but he's going to be really sharing how you can get the most value out of your time on the stand and at the event. So that's going to be at the end, and we're going to try to do all of this in 45 minutes. So jump on in. Please don't be shy to use the chat to speak to us. So get going, and we're going to start is as a team in May, we attended, oh golly, I have to check with 30 stops around the country, 22, where we met with bursars and we met with IT managers. And we took the following information and we asked as many questions as possible to get a picture of what the biggest needs are in schools at the moment. So we really want to share these needs with you at the moment. So here we go. All right. Can I get a thumbs up that you can see my screen? And it should say market info from our again. Yes, there we go. Brilliant. Okay, thanks everyone. We can make this interactive. So we met with bursars, finance managers, and then on the other roadshow we met with IT managers. So on the bursar side, these are some of the things that stood out. Remember back then, load shedding was still an issue. It was before the elections. So we asked about electricity. That doesn't seem to be as relevant now. But these are some of the things that the financial people in the school are thinking about. We said, listen, what do you want to find out? So big thing, massive with the bursars, as we know, is screening parents. As one can expect, outstanding fees, debt management, and fee collection. And I think it's important for you, even if you are not selling a product into the bursar space, you are still going to be getting a pay or an EFT or some form of payment from the finance manager at the school. And the schools are under pressure because at the moment they're seeing a large amount of outstanding fees, and they're battling to get those fees from the parents. So there's definitely, we're seeing some pressure with them at the moment. So if you have solutions that can save them bucks, can do what they're doing more effectively, more affordably, you're going to stand out. They are, from the finance side, are definitely looking for payment solutions, cashless systems. It was amazing how many schools still get school fees. My favorite stories was one of the schools, I won't mention their name, but a parent, I'm very worried about this parent, walked in with a suitcase of cash and said, can I pay for my school fees for the next 5 years? And paid cash. The school gladly said yes and took it, but I do get concerned where that cash was from. Other stuff is accounting software, and a lot from the finance side are going, how do we put stuff into the cloud? And then lastly, fundraising. So I think, and why we wanted to mention this versus roadshow feedback for you as a company selling to schools is, schools are feeling this pressure at the moment when it comes to their finances. So when you are speaking to anyone, you need to realize eventually this has to go into a budget somewhere. So how do you show them that, listen, we are either more affordable or we can help you save time, save money? I sound like an advert now, but it's good to keep this in mind when you're talking to them. But I'm now going to jump to the next slide, which I think is way more relevant for most of our exhibitors. And this is feedback from, golly, I think it's about 200 schools that we spoke to. And we said to them, listen, we want to get an idea of what your big next EdTech spend is going to be on. And what are the biggest challenges you're facing? So to break this down, and we found this super, super fascinating. So what we did is on the roadshows, we had a survey that they all filled in. And surprisingly, and we were very surprised about this, one of the biggest needs that the schools have was tablets and iPads. They actually use those words. And you'll see point 3 there is Chromebooks and laptops. So there is a big need for devices. So if you flip to the right of my screen, you'll see there's which tech ecosystem does your school primarily align with. You can see the breakdown at the moment with Google and Microsoft. But I'm actually going to jump to the next slide because it's relevant to this. So this is the graph on the right. How are dedicated devices managed in your school? So remember the audience we went to at our roadshows and saw, so we saw about 200 school decision makers. These were from top end schools. So we are talking private, and X Model C, that kind of level. So you're looking at decent school fees on a monthly basis. So 42% of them have no dedicated device in the school. So I think this is why a lot of the schools were going, because we asked, like, how do you manage devices in your school? So 42% said they do not have one-to-one device. 21% said bring your own device. Whatever you have as a learner, bring. 13% have banks of devices that they move from classroom, their Chromebooks or iPads. 10% have Chromebooks, so of our schools that we're dealing with. 7% were iPad, Mac, and then 4.29% were other Windows devices. So it's really interesting that just over half did not feel like they had adequate devices in the school. So if we jump back here to the page before, wrong way, you could see why devices is such a hot topic at the moment. On top of that, interactive smart boards was a huge need that kept on coming. I think a lot of schools see it as step one is we want an interactive environment, and then we'll go to device. Point 4, which we thought was going to be a lot higher. We thought coding and robotics was going to be the #1 thing they were looking for. It was in fact number 4, but the debates around it and the need that the schools have, that's a big thing. We picked up this, a lot of the schools are going, I don't really know what I need. I need a trusted advisor. So that makes us really excited for our events. Tying in with that, point number 5, 4IR, so 3D printers, VR, there was just a huge amount of interest. And I think any IT manager is looking for that new, cool, something that's going to really engage the learners. And that's something that came through. There was 2 strong sides that came through. One was like, we need an underpinning system, but at the same time, we also need to engage our learners. So I think when you are, just a tip, when you are talking to schools at our events, how are you supporting their infrastructure? And then how are you engaging their learners are 2 big questions there. Number 6, Wi-Fi network infrastructure, this and educational, and then the software. So I hope that gives you a bit of an idea of where schools are saying their spend is going to come. So I think there's very clearly 2 components. There's a hardware infrastructure, and there's an educational, like coding, robotics, curriculum, textbooks, software that they can use that's come through on both sides. And then if we jump to the next slide, sorry, just to give you line of sight, I'm going to finish the slide and then we're going to get into some practicalities. But I really wanted to try and give you a bit of what we're picking up in the market to help you be as effective as possible. So top of mind. So we just said, listen, what's top of mind? What are you trying to answer? And once again, we were gobsmacked. #1 thing that came through was special needs. The stats are scary at the moment that how few special needs schools there are. And we know that the teachers in their class now, there are multiple learning disabilities, be it physical impairment, saying it right, hearing, sight, but then there's autism, there's all of these things, and teachers are now having to become experts. And they are looking for solutions that will help them be effective in really engaging with learners that might have special needs. So that one came through from the IT managers and in EdTech implementers as well as the principals. Number two, cyber security. And I think you might have seen it on the slide before. 40 on the bottom right here, 41% of the schools we are dealing with have had a cyber security incident. And I think from the industry side, if we are selling technology, we have to be comfortable that we are also putting in place the technology to support that and make it safe. So that school's been locked out of their systems, a lot of dodgy content, kids trying to hack the firewalls, their marks, all of those good things. But we're amazed at how many schools have had their backups corrupted, and then their main files and couldn't access anything. Schools having to pay with Bitcoins to get their content back. So there's a huge amount of stuff on the cyber side, and it looks like worldwide schools are becoming targets for cyber. So whenever you're talking to a school IT manager, don't be shy to say, listen, this is how we keep stuff safe for you. Very important. Okay, so motivate and train staff. Golly, there's nothing better than getting the school excited. They roll out your solution and then no one uses it. So when you're selling to schools, as part of that selling, you need to be able to clearly show how you can actually support them. Funding, point 4. I think all of them that can, and we've spoken about that in bursts. Number 5, integrating coding, robotics, AI, and other emerging technologies into the existing curriculum and daily lessons. I think that is a huge thing. They are going, how is your solution going to fit into what we are teaching and what we are providing? If it be a product that you are supporting teachers or the administration, like how does this all work together? Number 6, strategies for e-learning digital classrooms. You would have seen that 42% of schools don't have dedicated device, or a lot of them are not feeling comfortable with the devices they have or the technology. And they're sitting there going, actually, how do I do this? And maybe just to press pause there for 1 second, because I think this is a great time to talk about the theme for our event this year. But before I do that, is everyone still good? A couple of thumbs up. I hope this is engaging, helping you. Just to answer some of the questions, is these slides will be sent afterwards. So I saw a couple of those. So yeah, please keep those questions coming. So this point here about, how do we integrate coding robotics? Point 6, e-learning, digital classrooms, device management. So our theme for Schoolscape this year and this series of events is this mix between tradition and innovation. So we've got these schools with this history and this rich history of pedagogy and learning. And I'm sure you've been to schools where they're like, we don't need your product. We are sorted. And they are, you put up the coffee cup. Whoever found that emoji, that was pretty cool. Sorry, easily distracted. Yeah, I'm back. But there's these schools that are stayed in their ways, and they're going, well, we've been doing this for 50 years. Why do we need to change it? And then on the opposite extreme, you've got these innovative teachers that are going, how can I bring technology into the school? And there's this conflict sometimes between the tradition and the innovation. And our whole theme for this year is those things need to dovetail and work together. And the reason we want to mention this to all of you now is we think it's fundamentally important for you to go into this event as part of that theme, going, listen, we want to celebrate, we want to empower what you're doing well in schools, and we want to use innovation to help you. And what we're trying to do, and a lot of our marketing going out to the schools is saying, like, listen, those that are nervous for tech in the school, come look at how technology is going to support you. And then on the opposite extreme, those that are gung-ho and let's do tech, we're saying to them, listen, here's ways that you can practically do this to not scare off those that are nervous of change. So that's a bit about the theme, and we hope that you can come with that kind of thinking. All right, so that was just a complete aside, but back to the feedback from the roadshow. So point 6, learning digital resources, classroom solutions. How do we bring it into the school? Point 7, how can schools collaborate and share resources, best practices amongst each other? And maybe just one tip on that side. On your stand, while you are exhibiting, if that school comes past that loves your product, pull them onto your stand and try to keep them as long as possible, because there's nothing more powerful than a school selling your product for you. And those that are passionate about your product will. In fact, we'd even say invite some of the schools that you love working with and say, please, why don't you come to Schoolscape, and could we ask you a huge favor? I will pay you with a box of chocolates or a bottle of wine. Come stand on our stand for the day and help share with other schools, because schools love learning from other schools. Okay, so that's number 7. Number 8, integrating technology into your educational environment. I think also remember, for a lot of the schools in the IT and the tech space, the person who was the IT teacher for a lot of the schools is now managing the infrastructure. You've got your private schools that do employ like kind of senior level IT technicians, but for a lot of the ex-Model Cs and government schools, that teacher that looks like he or she understands what's potting is suddenly given all of this. So they're looking for that kind of support. So if you are bringing a technical product, you need to also be going, okay, how do I need to support the school? What IT infrastructure, software, hardware are you using? This was another big thing for them, and how do you secure it? And then the last one, which I found super fascinating, is how do you deal with teacher burnout? And I think, to me, the big takeaway for as an education supplier is, how are your products going to help them be more effective and not add more strain? And if you want to win a teacher, one IT manager or a principal over, you need to show how your solution is going to engage learners, but also really create space for the teachers, because they are crazy overworked. And also at the same time, I think they all know these AI this, AI that, but they don't know how to practically use those solutions. All right, so I'm sorry, that was 15 minutes of craziness, but we wanted to try and give you an understanding of what we've picked up into what's happening in the market. We are now going to swing into 15 minutes of getting you prepped and ready for the event. So I'm going to invite my colleague Werner on board. Just a side note, we have given Werner in the office a nickname, because I think a lot of you are dealing with him and with Annika. We now call him Vern Diesel, because he's that diesel engine that just keeps going. So if you see us chirping him on the expo floor, calling him Vern Diesel, there we go. I see the strong emoji coming through. That is why, because the man is a machine. So he's going to give you a bit of an oversight of the tech you need. I just pulled up the agenda just in passing. Please, he'll go into more detail of when we need you there, that kind of stuff. But what we are trying to do, you'll see from the agenda, is always have people on the expo floor. So we're going to be, our schools are going to be from 7:30 till 3:30 there. Coming on and off the expo floor. So we always try and leave someone on the expo floor while we do sessions. So sessions rotate in and out. So you'll see that. And then also changing for this year, you'll see at 3:30 there's a prize giving. We are rebranding that prize giving as a kind of an edgy event, like a edgy party. And we want to close not only with a prize giving with a glass of wine, but also just some networking. So please, keep in mind, there could be some phenomenal time to chat and connect with people over a glass of wine at the end of the show. Those people that you saw, that you still want to engage with. All right, then we're going to wheel on across.
Great stuff. Pete, thanks for the intro. My name is Werner. Peter refers to me as Vern, but that's for the English people. I just try to be human. To get all the logistics in place, I think the first thing that you would have seen there would have been what we call the welcome email that went out, the one that you'll see on screen now. In that email, you would have seen the critical steps that you please have to complete. For us, it's rather important to know that first step is the key contact details form, or we call it the stand requirements form, just to make sure that we know what you need on your stand. It will refer to the tables and chairs. It will refer to also prizes, what we do with prize giving, and a media partner. Also, please make a note of it that we have sent out a media pack with this email so that you can use it to help market the event as well. For us, it's important to create as much as possible excitement around the events from the exhibitors, from the schools, from our side as well. Second step would be to be on this webinar, which you've done now. So great, thanks for being here. And I think it's a step in the right direction for getting yourself ready for the event. Third step would be to what we call manage your booth. You have to set up your virtual booth. The link is in there. Once you go in there, you'll be able to see, it will push you through onto the event platform. I think it's important to notice that you can set up that your specific account and your profile. After that, it will ask you about notifications, whether you want them or not. I think it's just important to stay in touch with what we're doing at the event, so it's important that part. Then we will welcome you, and you can then go to Manage Exhibitor Space. Once you click on that Manage Exhibitor Space, it will push you through to your virtual booth. There on the left-hand side, you'll see there's an overview, booth members, and so forth. I think the important part is just to make sure that you add your staff that's going to be involved at the event, at booth members. That's the important part there. And then obviously you can set up your booth with, there's your exhibitor profile, logo, banner. You can add PDFs, handouts, and so forth, and all the critical detail of your booth. Like I said, there's videos you can add and some other collateral as well. Important, because once schools use the app, that they can see all of that and they can access you and get a hold of you quite quickly. This will also be important once you set this up, and then also send out invites to when you add booth staff members. What they will then receive, there's the part where you add booth staff members, you add in the details, and once you press add, they will then receive an email when they can download the Schoolscape app. They must only download the app once they've received the email, because that means they've been added at the back end. On the day of the event, importantly, that they must download the app before the event. So on the day of the event, they will then be, that's a process if you want to leave the booth. I'll get back to that just now. I think importantly to notice that on the day of the event, they would be able to access or scan leads. I'll explain that just now as well. That's, I think, important. If you want to change the owner of the booth, there's also a part in that booth members where you can assign a new primary staff member to your booth. Quickly run through the step. That's where you'll find your leads on your booth. That's when you want to set up meetings with the schools. Last thing that's important here, you'll see this email will come from Anneke. Anneke helps us with the onboarding of exhibitors. You'll also see there's an exhibitor media pack there. Please, like I said, use that, create as much excitement as possible. Invite the schools that you want at the event to make sure that you can convert them and have discussions with them at the event. And then there's also a key contact details form, like I said, that you have to complete, and right at the top, exhibit information document. That exhibit information document has got all the details on the event. So when we start, when we set up, and so forth, anything you'll need, TV screens on the stand, everything is in that pack. If you can't find it in there or in these 3 steps, please give either Anneke or myself a shout on anything logistically related. Then, is everybody still with me? I do have a bit of verbal diarrhea, so I can speak quite a lot. I just want to know. Okay, it seems to me there's one person. I hope the rest haven't fallen asleep yet. Okay, cool. Then I see everybody is up and running. Next thing, importantly, why they have to invite booth staff members is to make sure that they can scan leads on the day. You'll see once you enter the app on the left-hand side, there would be a tab under the home tab. You're going to click on that. There would be a scan leads. It will open up a screen. That next one that says it's got a green block around it that you scan leads with. Once you scan that lead, Every attendee will have a name tag with a QR code. Once you scan that QR code, you'll get all the information on the right-hand side. You can then tag it either hot, warm, cold. You can change some of the information if all the information aren't added in there, and you can save it. And afterwards, you can export it as a very nice lead sheet for the sales team. So then once again, if you want to export it after the event, once again on the home tab, you're going to click on My Leads. There would be all your leads will lie there on the next screen. You'll click on the export button, and then you're going to send it as an email in a very nice lead sheet to yourself. I hope that covers. That is for us very important for the event. Please let all your staff download the app only once if they receive that invite to the booth, and make sure that they do it before the event. So that the day before the event, that's the last time we're going to try and set up or somewhere on the app and sort out problems, so we don't have trouble with that during the event or on the event. That will make your life very easy while you're on the stand on the day of the event. Thanks for the emojis on that and a thumbs up. Then I'm going to quickly jump into the next part. I think important with regarding to logistics, we set up the day before the event. We're going to start at 12:30, leading up until 5 of the afternoon. We're going to do the setup of the event. You'll receive either a 2x3 meter stand or a 4x3 meter stand if you're a sponsor stand. You'll get a table, which you'll tell us on that stand requirements or key details form, which kind of table, whether it would be a trestle table or a cocktail table, where you want a tablecloth. It will automatically receive chairs with that. There will also be an electricity point on the stand. Please make sure that you bring a multi-plug and an extra lead with, because you most probably have to share somewhere, and just to make sure that you've got extensions for all your electrical equipment. That being said, you are catered for 2 staff members if you're a standard stand, 3 or 4 staff members as a sponsor stand. They would, all of them would be included in the coffee and the nice food that we give at the event. So please make sure that they are aware of that. Like I always say, they must please wear comfortable shoes. They must stop talking like a week before the event, because that's the time they're going to talk the most at the event. And then please make sure that they're hydrated and eat during the event. That's quite important for them. There would be Wi-Fi at the event. Please bring maybe an extra dongle if you're worried about Wi-Fi. Would we rather rig very well for all the different venues we have used them in the past. So we'll make sure that there's Wi-Fi, and there would be Wi-Fi for the attendees, one for the exhibitors, and then we've got a separate Wi-Fi also for the speakers. Yeah, and then anything regarding logistics, setup. This is the kind of stand you'll see, the kind of stands that we set up. If you want to, there's like a backdrop at the back, like a pull-up banner, pull-up banners, or a spider banner, or your marketing collateral type of stand setups. You'll also see in that exhibitor pack that we sent out, there would be a video how to set up your stand. And I think that's almost everything regarding logistics. Please give us a shout if there's anything that you need, either me or Anneke. And then we're looking forward to seeing you in 2 weeks' time. Enjoy, and thanks for your attention.
All right, brilliant. You can see we've got wheelie chairs. Yeah, so thank you. I see there are some practical questions coming. Hey, Van Diesel, I added meeting time, so I exhibit a profile, but it's not pulling through as a booking option on our profile. Is there a step? I will give you some feedback after that. I think also just on booking times, what we have found, just the app does allow it, but to manage expectations, often the schools will just put something in, not realizing the agenda and where they need to fit in. So that booking time things, use it because it gets you engaging with them, but they don't always really appear when they should, but they will still come past your stand. So I think that's the good thing. Is set up at 12:30 at all 3 venues? Correct. So please do come. Also, just a reminder, just that your setup, the apps for the school attendees is we have a Cape app, a Joburg app, a Durban app. So it means you, and we are sorry for this, but it means you have to set your profile up 3 times. The reason why we do this is a way better user experience for the schools. So you're going to see the system will prompt you for Cape Town, for Durban, and for the Gauteng event to set up your profiles and stuff. It just allows us better engagement, better use. It also makes your life a lot easier when scanning QR codes and storing that information. So just to help you understand that. And then, yeah, so I did mention that party at the end. So what we really want to try to do is look, for those of you who've been before, you know, our schools love free prizes. So what we want to do in that last session is give away some prizes, have a glass of wine. So on that note, if you have an amazing prize to give away, and we do ask everyone to engage with that to give prizes, please reach out to Vern Diesel to supply, and we'll click those on the day. And that's really also something really cool that makes our events really engaging, is the prizes, and the schools absolutely love it. So please do, if you're sitting there going, what would be a great prize? I think there's two ways of looking at it. Option one is something that the teacher, sorry, not the principal or the IT manager or the HOD is going to love. So, you know, a bottle of wine, some chocolates, something that they can use themselves, they love. Then the other option is something that they can use in their school or in their class. But I do think most of the teachers, sorry, not teachers, decision makers enjoy the former. So it's a great way also, if you've got a prize, to use it as just another opportunity to engage with the staff. So please make sure you get those through to Werner. All right, so what we want to do now is swing, and all of you are paying incredible money to be at the events, to get as many leads as possible and to engage. And I think, you know, for you, you are coming out of your normal structure in a week for a day or two, so your time. So, and the reason I'm mentioning this is we want to make this time as valuable as possible for you. We want you to get there and fill up your lead sheets for the whole year in the series of events. So to do this, we've put together some thoughts and ideas to help you be as effective as possible. And some of it might be that one new idea that you need to get and engage with more schools. So I'm going to introduce you to Henk. So Henk is on our team. His role at the organization is engaging with our schools. So he's got an incredible understanding of what they are looking for. Also at our events, he's often seen walking around, engaging with exhibitors, looking at how the schools engage with you as suppliers. And I think he's got some incredible insights that he's going to be sharing now for 5 to 10 minutes. So this is the last bit we've got, and then we'll hand across to Henk.
Hello, everybody. Very, very excited. So as Pete said, my responsibility is talking to the schools. And I'm so excited that we will have what we call here at Schoolscape many whales at the event. Now, Whale is a extremely top-end school that we want at the event with some great budgets to spend. And that's why we all are here. So we've got Somerset College, Renish, La Rochelle, Paul, Parklands, Fairburn, Willand College. And I've personally received around 200 mails of people just saying how excited they are at the event. And while I was preparing for this, I actually thought, Pete, we need to give back to the exhibitors as well. So if you pay attention, and if you stuck with us to this point of the webinar, we will be giving around 50,000 Rand of speaking value during the event away. But there's some steps that you'll have to follow to claim this. So if you're still up on the webinar till now, you are in luck. The first person to send the emoji will get it. No, I'm just joking. There's no way to track that, unfortunately. So yeah, very exciting story. I was chatting to a school supplier that attended one of our events, and they applied the following steps that I'm going to talk about in the next 2 slides. And from preparing the event, having the actual meeting with the school and converting, they were able to sell off one lead 1.5 million Rands of product. And that is not a lot, considering that we will, for example, be having a school like Somerset College with a budget between 66 and 80 million Rand that they have to spend on their learners. So it's really important to have these things in place so that we just get the best out of these events. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So pre-event, okay? The media pack is extremely important because it's a free event. People will gain immense value from actually attending this event, and will give them an opportunity to connect with you at the event. And it will also make, create credibility to know that you guys are at the event, you're there to serve them, you're there to engage with them and show them your solutions. On the media pack, we will be giving around 50,000 rands of speaking value away if you guys follow the next steps with the media pack. So if you email me, henk@schoolscape.co.za is my mail. Dan is going to drop it in the chat as well. We will make a unique UTM, a unique tracking link for you. Now, you've all received a media pack. You will receive a new media pack with this UTM, and the person on this call that gets the most registrations or schools to actually sign up for the event will get an 8 to 10 minute speaking slot during all 3 events, which is amazing value and an opportunity to present to all of these Wales schools. So if you've got a database of schools that you would like to invite and you want to take part, you can just drop me an email at henk@schoolscape.co.za. Point number 2 is to plan your stand. So make sure you are approachable, inviting, and it's always nice to have some free stuff on your stand as well. People like free stuff, and it will kind of make them park in your stand. Number 3 is just to understand your offer. Just make sure you're ready to show them how these solutions work. And then I will also share a video in the chat where we go through how you should stand at the stand, but I'll drop a little bit more of that later. And then, as Vern mentioned, make sure that you are on the app as well. It's just very professional if you guys get there on the day and you actually have the app. Okay. And you actually have the app instead of scrambling around the morning to download the app. Then we get to the event. Okay. So when you're engaging with schools, make sure that you introduce yourselves, gain intelligence, ask the right type of questions. And I would normally ask a school decision maker, what is your role at the school? Tell me more about what you do. And once you have that intelligence, you can actually show them your solution and how it can serve you instead of just selling to them. If you are unaware of the school positions, like you get finance staff, you get IT managers, principals, deputies, just make sure you understand these roles and what they actually do in the school before you kind of roll into the event. And then last point is the attitude. Just make sure that you have perfect. And the last point is have the right attitude. And Pete made a beautiful video where he explains the 5 golden steps of having the right attitude on stand, where to stand, what to do around it. And Dan will drop that video for us in the Dropbox, in the chat bar. And the last point is after the event, you want to contact the schools as soon as you have a chance. Make sure that you drop them an actual call. And they will obviously remember you from the event. So try and use that leverage of trust to get a free demo event. Free demo events work really well. So to actually say to the school, listen, we had a chat at Schoolscape, Schoolscape IT. Let me pull through to the school to give you a free demo and actually let them engage. And this is the steps that company actually use to kind of convert that lead. And I think that is kind of the golden steps that I would apply working with schools every day. And if there's any questions, you guys are most welcome to drop me a mail at Schoolscape. If you have any questions around, what bursaries do, I'm not sure how we should present to a principal. And I'm really excited. I know this is going to be a event for the books. Cool.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I think the big thing is, from all of Henk's points, is don't pitch up on the day and hope for the best. Go in and be prepared. So he mentioned the different roles of the school. So what we're going to do is each different role is going to have a different colored lanyard. So that lanyard will be linked to their role. So if you see someone, for example, with yellow, we'll have to choose what yellow is, maybe it's principals. As soon as you see a yellow lanyard, you know that that is going to be a principal, which means when you speak to them, you're speaking very different, you're asking a very different question to an IT manager. An IT manager might be looking hardware. A principal is going to be looking at the macro level of the school. So as soon as they come up, be prepared. Be like, oh, as a principal, is the following a challenge for you at your school? Or are you concerned about engagement? Because what happens is you can immediately change the conversation. And we found as soon as a school mentions a problem that you can solve, you've got their attention. And that's what Schoolscape is all about. Our heart is to see our suppliers, the organizations like yourself, we want to see you thrive because we really believe you have innovative, incredible solutions. So when we match you to a school and the school has that light bulb moment, it goes, this is the product I've been looking for to solve my problems, we know it's a match made in heaven. But sometimes the schools can't articulate that problem properly. They don't really know. So if you can ask them a question that highlights the problem that they have, and you can show that you can answer it, brilliant. So look for those and be prepared. And then just to remind you, one of the ways we've built Schoolscape is it's always been an industry event, and it's been amazing just seeing people putting out newsletters and mailers and inviting schools, and I think we're over 1,000 odd registrations already, which for in where we're at with the event is actually more than we normally are, which is great. So Henk is doing hard work behind the scenes, but we just see newsletters going out where people are going, we're at the event. So I think where Henk mentioned that we want to give someone a bit of a reward for that, it's also just a way for us to say thank you. So if you want to take part, please mention Henk, say, hey, we've got a mailer going out tomorrow. Send me a unique URL that we can then track the registrations through. That's we hope will be incredibly valuable for you. And whoever wins that, we will let you know, and it's just going to be done off the most registrations. So it's just a great way to give back. And I think from our side, sorry, there's a question. Yes, sorry. Whoever register maximum school faculty. So just, yeah. So the person that communicates out, and we see the company that has the most registrations come from. So we'll be able to track those, and that's why you need that unique URL. We will track those, and whoever leads to the most registrations will get that speaking slot. So it's as simple as that, and it's just a way for us to give back. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think if there's any other questions, please do ping them into the chat bar. So there's a Q&A. Please ask. We'll answer any last questions. But reach out to Vanna, reach out to Annika. And I think from the last thing from our side, and just to reiterate, our theme for this event is innovation and tradition. And what we are hoping is by the time schools leave the events, they would have met with you and they would have found a way that they can bring innovation into their school that supports what they've been building in some cases for 180 years. And that they're going to be school decision makers that are that little bit closer to putting in innovation and the incredible products and services that we know you have that can really move education forward. We know the opportunity of how innovation that is effective and powerful can radically move a school forward. And I think that's what excites us for this event. So please come prepared, come ready. We're going to be there. There's going to be lots of coffee going around. We'll have a team walking around taking coffee orders to keep you engaged and going. Yeah, bring a smile. Let's make it a great time. Let's make it kind of a blessing for the schools as they come out. Let's inspire them and equip them and send them back into their schools. And we hope and we know that many incredible connections are going to be built over the 3 events. So we look forward to seeing you there. Also, just a heads up, on the 10th of October, we're going to be running Schoolscape Harare. So in Zimbabwe, and we are first making those opportunity available to our exhibitors, which are you at Schoolscape IT in South Africa. So if you would like more information on that, please reach out to Ashley and Werner. We are first going to be working, because we've only got limited space, we will first be offering it out to our present base. So that's all from us. Reach out to us if you need any help, ping us any questions, emails, and we will see you there. And if there's any more questions, we'll just answer them in the chat bar. So if you've asked a question. Thanks, everyone.